Diane Keaton, one of Hollywood's most loved and timeless stars, has passed away at the age of 79, leaving behind a legacy that changed cinema forever. Known for her unforgettable roles in the Godfather series, Annie Hall, and Something's Gotta Give, Diane's charm, wit, and individuality made her a symbol of strength, humor, and grace in Hollywood. Her passing has left the film world heartbroken, as colleagues, fans, and celebrities remember her not just as an actress, but as an icon of authenticity. Born in Los Angeles in 1946, Diane Keaton grew up with big dreams of becoming a performer. She began her journey on stage, performing in plays before landing her first big break on Broadway in Hair. It was her performance in that show that caught the eye of director Woody Allen, who would later cast her in Play It Again, Sam, a role that opened the door to a lifelong collaboration and friendship. But it was The Godfather in 1972 that made her a household name, playing Kay Adams, a role that showcased her quiet power and emotional depth. Her career took off in the 1970s, a decade that defined her as one of the greatest actresses of her generation. With her role in Annie Hall, Diane became a cultural phenomenon. Her quirky personality, natural acting, and signature menswear-inspired fashion sparked trends that still influence fashion today. She won an Academy Award for her performance, and her look, complete with hats, vests, and ties, became a global style statement. As years passed, Diane continued to prove her versatility. She starred in hit films like Manhattan, Baby Boom, and Father of the Bride, showing that she could master both comedy and drama with ease. In Something's Gotta Give alongside Jack Nicholson, she played a middle-aged woman rediscovering love, a role that earned her another Oscar nomination and made millions around the world fall in love with her all over again. Beyond her acting, Diane Keaton was also known for her passions outside of Hollywood. She was a talented photographer, writer, and interior designer. Over the years, she became known for her love of architecture and restoration, often buying and redesigning homes in Los Angeles. One of her most beloved homes, a $29 million LA mansion, was recently listed for sale, a decision that now seems bittersweet following her passing. In recent years, Diane had been quietly battling health issues. Sources close to her revealed that her decline was unexpected, but not without courage. She faced her struggles the same way she faced everything in life, with strength, humor, and grace. Even in her later years, Diane continued to act, write, and inspire younger generations of artists. She was never afraid to age publicly or to talk openly about her choices, her independence, and her decision never to marry, something she once said gave her freedom to focus on her art and her 2 adopted children. Diane's relationship with her children was one of the greatest joys of her life. She often spoke about how motherhood changed her, grounding her in ways that fame never could. Her home was filled with laughter, art, and the warmth of family. She believed that love didn't need to fit into society's definitions, a message that resonated with millions of women who admired her honesty. Throughout her life, Diane Keaton was known not just for her work, but for her personality, funny, fearless, and a little bit eccentric. She was known for her trademark hats, her black and white suits, her contagious laugh, and her love for keeping things real. While many Hollywood stars chase trends, Diane set them effortlessly. She never tried to fit in, and that's what made her unforgettable. Her colleagues from across Hollywood, including Al Pacino, Meryl Streep, and Jack Nicholson, have shared touching tributes, remembering her as a friend who brought light and laughter wherever she went. Directors and actors have praised her for paving the way for strong, independent female characters and for redefining beauty and confidence at every age. Diane Keaton's passing marks the end of an era, but her spirit will continue to live on in her work, her words, and her legacy. Her performances will keep inspiring generations to come, From the young woman chasing dreams in Annie Hall to the wise, strong figure in Something's Gotta Give. Each of her roles carried a piece of her truth, her humor, and her heart. Even as fans mourn her death, there's comfort in knowing that Diane lived a full and meaningful life, one filled with art, laughter, love, and purpose. Her story reminds us that it's okay to stand out, to grow old boldly, and to live life on our own terms. She once said, "You've got to love life, even when it's hard. Otherwise, what's the point?" Today, we remember Diane Keaton, not just as an actress, but as a woman who embodied resilience, creativity, and grace. Her journey from a small-town girl to a Hollywood legend remains one of the most inspiring stories in film history. Her laughter, her style, and her wisdom will be missed, but her legacy will never fade. In the months leading up to her passing, Diane Keaton had been living a quieter life, surrounded by close family and a small circle of friends. Though she wasn't seen often in public, she remained active creatively, working on her photography projects and writing essays about aging, art, and the beauty of imperfection. Friends say she found comfort in simplicity, spending her days gardening, walking her dogs, and enjoying peaceful evenings watching old movies she loved. Diane often said she never wanted fame to define her. Instead, she wanted to be remembered for her work, her humor, and her heart. One of the most touching things about Diane Keaton was how she approached life with such authenticity. She never chased the glamorous lifestyle of Hollywood. Instead, she embraced her quirks and imperfections proudly. In interviews, she often laughed at herself, making audiences feel like they were talking to an old friend. Her candor about loneliness, beauty standards, and self-acceptance made her a role model for women everywhere. She once shared, "I was never perfect, and I never wanted to be. I just wanted to be real." Those words, much like her movies, still strike a chord with millions. Diane's impact wasn't limited to the screen. She was a trailblazer behind the camera, too. She produced and directed several films and documentaries, focusing on human connection and nostalgia. Her books, such as Then Again and Let's Just Say It Wasn't Pretty, gave readers an intimate look into her thoughts, her insecurities, and her love for creativity. Through every medium she touched, Diane left a little piece of herself, honest, curious, and beautifully vulnerable. Rest in peace, Diane Keaton, a true original who taught the world how to live fearlessly, love deeply, and be unapologetically themselves.